When I was little, my father was famous. He was the greatest samurai in the empire. He cut off the heads of 131 men.
Hey everybody, Jerry Williams, aka Greater Sapien here. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're looking at a couple more moon claims from Eric Dubay's 200 Proofs Earth is Not a Spinning Ball. Let's look at 134, which picks up from 133. Furthermore, the moon itself cannot physically be both a spherical body and a reflector of the sun's light. Reflectors must be flat or concave for light rays to have any angle of incidence. If a reflector surface is convex, then every ray of light points in a direct line with a radius perpendicular to the surface, resulting in no reflection. What? A few claims back, I said I had heard the stupidest one. I was so wrong. Do you have any idea what you're saying? And it's not just you. I've heard people make comments on my videos saying the same thing, though I have to assume they got it from you because I refuse to believe anyone else would independently come up with this. The stupidest claim in the history of claims. Do you not understand that your claim amounts to saying spherical surfaces, more generally convex surfaces, would reflect no light? They would be black holes in our field of view. Do you not realize how dumb that is? How you have to completely ignore reality to make such a statement? Do you not have a side view mirror on your car? That's convex to give a wider field of view. Have you never been in a convenience store or a hospital that has convex mirrors at the intersections of hallways? Have you never seen any object at any time? This here is a convex surface. Is it reflecting light? Yes, it is. Is it spherical? It is. It's spherical, it's convex, and guess what? You can see it. And here's a little tip for all of you budding flat earth scientists out there. An answer to a pop quiz if it ever comes up. Are you ready? If you can see it, it's reflecting light. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, but it's true. If you can see it, it's reflecting light. But just to be thorough, let me break down how Dubay's statement is wrong other than the fact that it is obviously untrue. Reflectors must be flat or concave for light rays to have any angle of incidence. Any surface, flat, concave, or convex, will have an angle of incidence for incoming light rays. The angle of incidence is just the angle between the incoming ray and the normal to the surface at the point of contact. This is true for any surface. The shape of the surface determines if the reflection diverges, converges, or not, and that will determine how the reflection appears to you, but it doesn't make the reflection not occur. But understand, this claim is so stupid that part of me thought it can't just be stupidity. There had to be some underlying bit of fact that this was based on. This is like the opening of MASH here. There's a helicopter going right above. So if you're wondering, I am currently at the highest point on the Silver Trail near Red Rocks in Denver, Colorado. So as I was saying, I was thinking it couldn't just be stupidity, right? I know, I'm a naive optimist sometimes, but I stared at this claim for a while, and I think I know what Dubay might have been thinking about, or whoever he copied this from was thinking about. Picture this. You have a perfectly reflective, perfectly spherical object, and you have a point light source, radiating light in all directions, but it is a single point light source. light that strikes the surface of the sphere will diverge in all directions, with only a stray photon or two striking your eyes, which would only resolve that single point of light, and the rest of the surface would be invisible to you. So Dubé or somebody probably saw or made a diagram like this and thought, how does the viewer see anything? And since we usually depict sunlight like this, they think, yeah, how can a spherical moon be seen? But the sun isn't a point light source like this. It has a large surface with light going out in every direction from every point on that surface. So even if the moon was a perfectly reflective sphere, we would have enough light reflecting to see it. But that's not what the moon is. The moon is a highly textured, and every bit of its surface is covered in dust and particulate rock, all of which are irregular shapes that reflect light in random assortment of directions. So the moon, though its overall shape is spherical and it's convex, it is highly irregular wherever light hits it. Now, I gave the claim more time than it deserved, but I had to try to address it. Okay. Number 135. Not only is the moon clearly self-luminescent, shining its own unique light, but is also largely transparent. When the waxing or waning moon is visible during the day, it's possible to see the blue sky right through the moon. And on a clear night, during a waxing or waning cycle, it's even possible to occasionally see stars and planets directly through the surface of the moon. The Royal Astronomical Society has on record many such occurrences throughout history, which all defy the heliocentric model. What stars and planets have been seen? I mean, I watched your video and I didn't see any stars or planets being seen through the moon. Look, there are a limited number of planets in our solar system, right? So if a planet is seen through the surface of the moon, people should be able to say, hey, that's Jupiter, right? Same with the stars, right? Which one is it? If it's a star, identify it on a chart, but they never do, because whatever it is they see isn't a star or a planet, and thus doesn't correspond with one we know. It's a flaw on their view scope, an encoding error on their video, an optical illusion, or as with this video, captured by a Japanese astronomer last year, a meteor impact. But if it were a star or a planet, they would be able to fully identify it. But they don't, because it's not. Now, I considered doing another deep dive into the old-ass Royal Astronomical Society records he's referring to, but this video is getting long enough already. To sum up, all the references of this go back to around 1794 to 4 guys who independently saw a star-like light just within the dark part of the moon when the moon was some 99% full. Even in the article, it's remarked that it may have been an optical illusion due to the nearly full moon appearing wider than it was, and the star was just outside the edge of the moon. But let me not get too far away before I point out that this is the second stupidest claim I've heard in a long time. What do you mean by largely transparent? Is it also occasionally transparent? Because if it was largely transparent all the time, we would see stars and planets through it all the time, right? It's like when they say, hey, here's this rare image of a city far away that should be below the horizon. This proves the Earth is flat. Should that be seen every day? You're saying because you can see the blue sky in a place of the dark parts of the moon, that means that we're seeing the sky through the moon, right? I guess in your supposed model, the moon is hovering inside the Earth's atmosphere, and we're seeing the atmosphere on the other side. You know, this reminds me of this classic question that was posed by a flat earther.
When you go outside and you look up at the sun, you see a blue background. So why is it that here on Earth, you look up and you see the sun, and the sun always has a blue background, but when you see these official images from the trusted scientific community and the good folks over at NASA who are raking in that $52 million a day, you see the sun and it's always a black background? Why does that happen? Why does it look that way? Ask these questions to yourself.
The answer to both Dubé and Daryl is the sky is between us and the objects in space. Some objects in space are bright enough for us to see through the sky, like the sun and parts of the moon that are lit up by the sun. Otherwise, we only see the sky. So it's not that we're seeing the sky through the unlit parts of the moon, it's that we're seeing the lit parts of the moon through the sky. Whew. I have to say, this has to be the most concentrated dose of industrial strength dumb fuckery that I've had to deal with this entire series. Man. I hope y'all appreciate this. Till next time.
That's my job! That's what I do! I don't lose! I win! Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Maybe you came by to congratulate me on last night's victory.